You are listening to Paycheck and Bread.
It's definitely inappropriate.
It's not your mom and dad's podcast.
Unless your mom's into butt stuff, and your dad is too.
Just two good old boys talking about shit we're not supposed to. Fuck PC, fuck what your mama says.
We talk about it so you don't have to. So sit back and enjoy.
You bunch of degenerates. Three, two, one. This is an inappropriate comedy podcast. We talk about it, so you don't have to. I'm Paycheck, and as always, I'm with my boy Red.
What's up, party people? This episode is brought to you by Roughneck Beard Company. Run over there to roughneckbeardcompany.com and use promo code Paycheck15 to save 15% off your next order.
All them orders. All of them.
All of them.
Thanks for kicking it with us again. This is Season 5, Episode 1, and as promised, we're implementing a new segment, and we're calling that motherfucker Hustler of the Month.
Hustler of the Month. Hustler of the Month. Hustler of the Month.
Dude, that's gay. That's gay.
Sorry.
But for our very first hustler, we have an up-and-coming amateur fighter fighting his way to his professional debut. One of the baddest motherfuckers that I know. Crazy stand-up game, loves knees and elbows, BJJ practitioner, my kickboxing/boxing coach, Combat Night Middleweight Champ, staple of my second home in the dopest gym in North Florida, Smiley's Academy of Mixed Martial Arts, my dude, Brinson Ellery, a.k.a. Brinson Burner.
Yeah. Damn right. I love that introduction.
Yeah, hey, appreciate you being on. This is my boy Red.
What's up, dude?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Chilling.
So, this is a big deal for me right now. I'm trying not to fanboy out a little bit, but for anybody that grew up watching boxing with their granddad or their dad back in the day, I'm talking about like, what was that dude's name that had the Superman thing? Hector Camacho. You know what I'm saying?
Hector Camacho, yeah.
Yeah. You know, look, that's like when I think about, because my grandpa used to like boxing, and I often wondered when MMA and all this shit come out, if he would have transitioned into the MMA or if he would have just stayed with the boxing. You know what I mean? So I remember as a little kid watching these motherfuckers walk out to the dopest music. Like I guess you get to pick your own music. So to see them standing there, you know, in the hallway or whatever, getting ready to walk out. Like the feeling, you know what I'm saying? The what you're going through mentally. Like I've always wondered what that felt like for a fighter to, you know, come out and all this shit that he has to do before the fight and everything. So I want to get into that, but let's take it back to day one. Let's take it back to the beginning. So just for some of our listeners, where are you from? You from Jacksonville?
Now I grew up actually in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm a military brat. I've been in Jacksonville since I was 15. Yeah. From Norfolk, Virginia. Born in Louisiana. Spent like a year in San Antonio, Texas. Grew up in Norfolk, Virginia. All over the place. Spent like 2 years of my life in Louisville, Kentucky. I bounced around a little bit.
You know, that's my story too, man. My dad was in the Army. We traveled all over the world. I didn't live in the United States until I was like 15 years old. So I grew up around all the other cultures, and that's another thing that made mixed martial arts intriguing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad, he was in the Army, and he got stationed in Korea, and he picked up Hapkido. So he'd come home and, you know what I'm saying, and he'd practice on us and show us, you know, and that's when I learned at an early age about kicking and throwing them hands. And that's always intrigued me. So let's take it back to your earliest recollection of a fight. Like, do you remember your very first as a child? Not amateur, no technical, you know, nothing like that. Just a brawl out on the playground or something like that, or at school. Did you ever meet anybody at the flagpole?
Yeah, we didn't make it to the flagpole. We fought right in class. That's the first one I remember.
Where was that?
This was in actually Norfolk, Virginia, in my third grade class. We was going back and forth. I was, sitting next to a girl, and it was a new guy, his first day at the school. So we joking back and forth. Yeah, your breath stinks. You got buck teeth. You got big lips. Just talking back and forth. That's why your shoes dirty. And then he says, "Your mother."
Ooh. Oh, well, he went there,
and that's where everything kind of record stop. Like, what you say? He said, "You heard what I said." So I get up, walk across class, kick his chair out from under him. Like 3 teachers had to come. I was a heavy-set child, so it took a lot to break me off of him.
You were you bigger than the other kids, like taller wise or thick wise? What kind of big you talking about?
I was probably taller.
Cause you
taller than most of the kids.
How tall are you right now?
6'2".
Yo, Red.
He's got 2 inches on me, bro.
Listen,
2 inches.
Yeah, but this dude could queue up. How does that make you feel on the inside, knowing that this dude could fuck you up?
It's respect, bro. That's all it is.
Yo, so here's the crazy thing about MMA, and look, like, I want to make sure everybody knows. Like, I don't know nothing about this MMA. The technical shit, the skill, the school, the training. You know what I'm saying? I fought in the streets. That's it. So when you go from fighting in the streets, you get a couple of KOs. You know what I'm saying? You win a few of them. Your chest is bowed out. You think, you know what I'm saying? I can hold my own. I can handle my business. But then when you step into a damn cage with these trained motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Well, wait a minute. Let's back up for a second. Did you knock this motherfucker out or what?
What, 8 years? He was 8, I imagine, in that grade, right?
Oh, no, I beat him up pretty good, though. I didn't knock him out. Not in 3rd grade. I didn't have that technique and that torque of the hips to, put him away.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Red,
I beat on him pretty good.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. Red has no training. So he ain't know that was a dumb question,
Why is that a dumb question?
You can't knock motherfuckers out in the 3rd grade, yo.
All you gotta do is land it in the right spot. It don't make a fuck how old you are. You hit that motherfucker in the right spot, and he's going down. He's gonna fold like a wet dish rag, man. Make a damn how old you are.
You gotta you got to get some of that grown man scrumph on you before you can knock a motherfucker out. You can't have little kid scrumph. You know what I'm saying? You got to be on that grown folks scrumph.
What you mean I ain't got no training? I wrestled all 4 years in high school.
They're going to send you somewhere.
What'd you say, Brinson?
I'm saying if you knock somebody out in the 3rd grade, they're going to send you somewhere afterwards. You won't be going to that school no more.
All right. So mentally, internally, spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Deep down, did that change you at that point?
Nah, it didn't change at that point because I was used to fighting in the neighborhood and this and that. Just all around. It changed like I wouldn't even say the first day I'd step into an MMA gym. I say like probably the 2nd day. That's when it all sank in. Like, oh damn, these motherfuckers know how to fight.
Yeah. So how old are you How old are you right now, Brinson?
I'm 33.
So how long have you been training then? Like, when did you step foot in the MMA gym for the first time?
For the first time at age 27.
27.
So started kind of late.
So at some point, when do you realize that you can scrap?
I've been new, like just growing up.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was growing up, military housing. It's always somebody new coming in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So if they was kind of on the bigger side, they'd be like, "Hey, we got to send him down the street to Brinson. Let him handle it."
Did that go into your school and shit? Like, did you get in trouble for fighting? You ever been suspended for fighting?
Oh man, every year.
Well,
at least once. Every year, at least once.
So I was telling my daughter, because she's young and she's, she just started doing the MMA class up there at Smiley's, and she's been doing the boxing and the jiu-jitsu, and this shit's always been dope to me. And I tell her, I was like, listen, if you do this, you know what I'm saying, if you continue to do this, most motherfuckers won't fuck with you just if they know. Like, if somebody just heard to the grapevine that you fuck around in the gym, you know what I'm saying, you're a fighter. Even if you don't compete, but you train like a fighter. Like, I knew this cat in high school. This motherfucker only knew karate, but a lot of motherfuckers didn't fuck with him just because he was that show. But he wasn't a humble dude. So we'd be they had this thing. It was called the pit in high school during lunch. That's where all the smokers and the weed smokers. That's where we all got together. You know what I'm saying? So this dude would show motherfuckers high kicks. Like this dude, yo. So just based on that,
nobody mess with him.
Yeah, nobody fuck with him.
Like, yeah, it's always the karate kid in the neighborhood somewhere, or in the school, in your class. I fought like a so-called karate kid in high school. Man, he kicked the fuck out of me. I ended up getting a hold of him, body slamming him, but that kick, I felt it the next day.
Hell yeah. Damn. So I'm trying to figure out, like, you've only been training for, you started at 27 and you're how old you said? 32?
33.
33.
I'll be 34 next month, actually.
So what is that? 7 years then, I guess?
Yep.
All right, since you've been training for about 7 years, let's take it back to the first gym that you ever went into. What was the first martial art that you practiced?
The very first, I was probably 8 years old up in Virginia, and I went to a taekwondo practice. I only ended up doing that for about a month because, you know, people in the neighborhood, they wasn't doing nothing. I used to get joked on about the gi. So we ended up, you know, went and played football and whatever. But the first time when I was 27, it was at this gym in Texas. Because I used to work at the contractor just all over the country. And I stopped in this gym in Texas called Texas Fighting Syndicate. I was actually on my way to a CrossFit gym. So I ended up going in the Texas Fighting Syndicate, and they had a jiu-jitsu class going, and I ended up getting an arm triangle. I didn't know what it was called at the time, but it ended up being an arm triangle. And after that, I was hooked. But like I told y'all before, the first class was great. I was like, yeah, I'm tapping all these guys, tapping them out. Then I go to a serious class on a Monday. That's when all the killers was there. Man, I swear I couldn't like bend my arm to pick up my phone for about 3 days, like armbar city. Neck sore, back sore, leg sore, ankles, everything. It was killing me that day.
Now, you mentioned CrossFit earlier, just a few seconds ago. Does CrossFit translate into mixed martial arts? Is it beneficial to mixed martial arts?
It can. Yeah. I wouldn't, like, as far as training for a fight, like, only do CrossFit. You gotta, to get better at fighting, I would say, right. You know, do fight shit.
I know sometimes football players do ballet for agility and stuff like that, or they do yoga or some crazy shit like that. So I didn't know if
it's definitely good for, say, conditioning,
right? Because
I don't know if y'all have ever been to a CrossFit like class. I did two, and we did maybe 1,000 of everything.
It's intense.
1,000 push-ups, like 4 miles, 1,000 sit-ups, pull-ups, everything.
Yeah,
weight training. But as far as conditioning, I feel like CrossFit is like, it's the shit.
Yeah, CrossFit's intense, man.
Yeah.
Do you do weight training?
Yeah, I do weight training. I probably 2-3 times a week. Mostly everything else is cardio.
All right, so you said so for those who don't know anything about mixed martial arts, I realized at a younger age when I first became interested, and I mentioned earlier my dad was in Korea and did Hapkido, and their foundation is like kicking. So Taekwondo, what separates Taekwondo from all the other mixed martial arts? What's the basis of Taekwondo?
What I picked up from it was a lot of kicks and forms, katas. And I wasn't in it too long to get too far into it, but that's what I picked up from it. They had a lot of kicks.
So you went from Taekwondo to jiu-jitsu. Now, did you start? So when you first started the jiu-jitsu, did you have a gi and a belt and everything? And
I didn't. I had a regular T-shirt on and some basketball shorts. My very first class.
Looking like a rookie. I bet all them killers gonna get
man drooling at the mouth. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get his big ass. Because at the time I was probably about 250, 260.
Whoa! What?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I didn't always have this slim figure.
Okay,
so Red, hold on. So you don't know this about Brinson, and of course our listeners don't either. But this dude is tall, but he's not. It's weird. Like dude's got a fucking back on him. When you turtle up, you know what I'm saying? Do you do back work? I mean, okay. So when you get ready, hold on. We have an order, so let's keep it in this order. I'll get to that question in just a minute.
All right.
So let's jump to cannabis real quick.
Okay.
If you want to hold back, or if you want to be forthcoming, whatever. Have you ever smoked weed?
Yes, I was a smoker back in high school. I was a big time smoker.
Okay, so when you first started training, were you still smoking at that time?
I stopped probably maybe a year or two out of high school.
So have you ever known anybody that supported and was an advocate for cannabis in the fight community, in MMA or mixed martial arts?
Yeah, I vouch for it 100%. I'm not a daily big time smoker, but I feel if like say MMA, it is. So you got basketball players, they have like knee problems. Football players, they have just all around problems. I feel like MMA takes especially in training, takes apart a little bit of everything to get to be a complete fighter, because you got to be strong, you got to have cardio. Right. I feel like MMA training is like the hardest out of all of them. And I feel like if you can smoke marijuana and kind of alleviate some of those problems, shit, why not?
Do you think that cannabis does have medicinal benefits to recovery?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I don't smoke like full on marijuana, but I'm a big advocate for CBD oil.
Yeah, that was going to be my next, because cannabis, I don't know how mainstream cannabis is in the fight community or MMA or whatever, but I know CBD is definitely on the rise. And I've always been a smoker. I'm a truck driver, so I don't get to smoke like I used to. But CBD, my dad went through 2 bouts of cancer. And he was a big military guy. He always lived by the book, didn't do illegal shit or whatever. But yeah. I just about begged him to look into CBD or cannabis because he couldn't eat anything. You know what I mean? And I told him, I was like, yo, smoke something. You know what I'm saying? You'll be in that pantry every 5 minutes. So I don't want you to mention any names or anything, but do you know any active fighters?
Yes, I know plenty of them.
Use CBD. Now, okay, so do the fighters that is it CBD or is it cannabis or is it both?
The ones I think of off the top of my head is cannabis.
Okay, so
I got a couple of friends that use CBD because we work together, and our job is kind of not government, but contracting for the government. So we can't use marijuana, so CBD is the next step, but it has the same benefits, though, I feel.
But see, that's an issue that I'm sorry, Ray, go ahead. I think you were fixing to say the same thing I was.
Well, not really. I don't know if I was or not, but it's still, I mean, with CBD, it still has a percentage of THC in it. So do you not worry about drug tests for fighting whenever you?
No, as an amateur, I don't think they waste the money to, drug test an amateur.
Okay.
It's very expensive. Just like USADA wouldn't come knocking on my door suspecting me of steroids.
Right.
Those tests are expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
So as an amateur, are you tested?
As what, for marijuana?
That, steroids or anything? Are there any urinalysis tests as an amateur fighter?
Not that I believe, not that I know of, because it's expensive. But I'm saying you get blood tests and eye exams. That's about it. But you have to pay for that out of pocket. They won't come knocking on your door saying piss in this cup.
Whoa. You got to pay for the blood test as an amateur fighter?
Yeah.
How much is that?
$80, and then the eye exam is maybe $40. The place I go to is $40. But sometimes you get sponsors, they'll give you money for that.
That was my next question. How come you wouldn't get a sponsor to pick that up?
Yeah, sometimes I do, but I try to focus on more of the fight.
Right.
And I make a couple posts about sponsorships and this and that, but I let my girl do all that. She's the big talker.
Yeah, I wanna add something about your girl real quick. So funny little story about Brinson's girl. Okay, so y'all ain't married though, right?
No, sir.
Okay. The boy that is in the gym, that's y'all's son together?
No, that's from another lady. That's my son. Yeah.
Okay. So when I first started training here, like his girl is dope. Like she's a bad motherfucker. She'll fuck you up. And look, and I'm not just blowing smoke. Like my daughters go out there, and my youngest daughter, she goes there and she trains there. And my youngest daughter and I talked about her. Her name is Mariah. That's cool. I can say her name.
Yeah.
So I was showing her Mariah because her shadow boxing and the way she moves in the cage and everything, you could tell she ain't playing. So I kind of used her as a tool for my daughter. Look at her. You know what I'm saying? She's good looking. She's a fighter. So you can be. You don't have to be butch. You know what I'm saying? Like a manly looking female. You know what I'm saying? Like you could,
not at all. Not
right? At all. So check this out. So it was probably like day 2, day 3 in the gym. I'm fooling myself saying I'm moving and shit. So I was so new that I didn't even have all my gear yet. I had no headgear. So Coach Smiley, he was like, okay, so if you're a partner, we were sparring. So what he does is we'll spar for just a few minutes, and then we'll switch partners and go to another partner. You know what I'm saying? That way you get to spar with different types of people.
Yeah.
So here it comes. It's me and Mariah now. Now I don't have headgear. So she has headgear, right? So as soon as she gets within striking distance of me, pops me right to the face. So my first thought was, yo, I don't have headgear. What are you doing? Listen, I was this close to having my man card removed because I almost was like, Coach, she hit me in the face and I don't have headgear.
Yeah, she don't give a fuck.
So your wife, so your girl fights too, Brinson?
Yeah, she fights.
Does she fight amateur? I mean, she fights.
Yeah, she's still amateur. She's just been getting over a injury from a car accident, but she'll be back in there soon.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, she just got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, didn't she?
Yeah. Now she just got a stripe. She been had her blue belt, but she's working towards the purple.
You too, right? Didn't you get
Yeah, I just got my purple belt.
Look at this motherfucker here with a fucking. You know what I mean? So this dude. Okay, so let's stay on track here. All right, so we did the cannabis thing. So now, anybody that has followed fighting knows that there are superstitions that fighters have, and one of them that's always stuck out to me is sex before a fight. Now, I remember Mike Tyson was asked this same question about that superstition, and he says, "Fuck that." He said, "I'd rather bust that way it's not on my mind." Because imagine you go through your whole camp, right, and you ain't fucking. So for a man, you know what I'm saying, that shit weighs on you a little bit. It's head. So Mike's like, "Look, I don't want anything fucking with my head, you know, while I'm getting ready to fight. So I'd rather bust, you know, right before the fight. That way that tension and all that built up shit, you know, isn't in me." So I'm assuming you've heard that superstition about no sex, right?
I think it's different for everybody because I've done without it and I've done with it, and I've had success in both fights. Well, the fights that I've done it, I feel like leading up to a fight and then between weigh-ins on Friday and Saturday, it's a lot of nerves, a lot of emotions. So I feel like to alleviate that, you know, keep the routine. If you're fucking every day, keep fucking every day. And I mean, but I've been without it, and I feel like it can, in some people, it raises your aggression. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like both sides of the fence are like pretty good. I don't feel there's anything bad about it.
Well, I mean, scientifically speaking, that's testosterone in your body. You know what I mean? So fighting with that, I would feel would give you more of an aggressive approach to the situation. Instead of busting right before where you got that post nut clarity. You know what I'm saying?
I see right before, probably like say you fight on Saturday, I probably like the last one might be maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. But like right before the fight, nah.
Well, you don't want to be in the locker room. Excuse me, guys. Hey, give me 5 minutes in here real quick.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking like in the locker room before you go out, do you walk out or nothing. I'm just talking like a day or so prior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would.
Like my first fight, I kind of, try to get one off to try to get closer to making weight, but just like a couple ounces, Like, damn, that didn't help at all.
Try to make weight. My man's blowing some Ron Jeremy loads over here.
Yeah, but see, that kind of makes sense, and I see now why you would think that, because I've seen where fighters where they'll take a piss, or they'll be maybe just a little overweight, and so they go take a piss or go take a shit
and be right on
the damn skin. Yeah, that's crazy. Man, okay, so
it's game of ounces for real.
So when is the weigh-in in conjunction with the fight? What's the time before the weigh-in and then the actual fight?
Usually weigh-ins are the Friday of the week, and then maybe the latest I've weighed in at was 7 o'clock. Usually it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then the fights, depending on if you're the very first fight or the last fight, range from, doors might open at 5, fights start at 6. So between 6 and 8, you'll fight.
So, wait. So there's almost a 24-hour period between the two?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's possible for you to cut weight or whatever you need to do and be on weight, and then you can eat like a motherfucker. So you could be a few pounds heavier during the fight?
Yeah.
Shit, you'd be more than a few. You say the most I've come back from, say I weighed in Friday 185. So Saturday, like morning, I weigh myself. I'll be a good 200 pounds, 201.
Without when you're not training for a fight. Now, Brinson is an instructor at Smiley's Academy, so this motherfucker trains every day. I'm pretty sure he's just about fight ready, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude right here on you at any time. But what's your walk around weight? Not training for a fight. I know you're in the gym every day, as an instructor, and you still sweating and all that shit. But what's your walk around weight?
Probably like 209, 210.
Okay, so you're that's what is it? A middleweight, welterweight? What do you fight?
That's welterweight.
I fight at 185.
That's welterweight, right?
So.
Now, 170, MMA and boxing is a little bit different, like weight names. But 185 is middleweight in MMA.
So what's the weight ranges in that weight class? Is it just 170?
What you mean?
No,
like
it goes from like 165 to 185 or 175 to 200 or something like that. What's the range?
Oh, no. You get maybe, if it's a title fight, you have to be under your weight. So if I have a title fight at 185, it has to be 185, like, and lower. It could be, they'll let you slide like a couple of ounces, like 185.5, 185.8.
Yeah.
But if it's like 186.5, they'll make you sweat that shit off.
What?
Yeah, but kickboxing matches have a wider weight range. I want to say it's like 8 or 10 pounds.
Damn.
Hey, I know a guy that went to a jiu-jitsu competition, and it was his first one. He didn't know, how the shit works. So he didn't know that when you weigh in for a jiu-jitsu competition, that the weight is with the gi. And the gi, believe it,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, believe it or not, a gi weighs about 3 pounds. So he was over. He naked. Most men who are training or whatever, they get down. I mean, you even see them, in the UFC or whatever. Sometimes they'll get butt ass naked and have somebody hold a fucking a sheet or something up. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's the ounces, man.
Yeah.
Ounces for real.
So he ended up at the jiu-jitsu competition, had to put on, like, they found like trash bags and all kind of shit, and then a bunch of clothes and sweatshirts and all that shit. And so imagine you're fixing to be in a jiu-jitsu competition, which is, people don't know how hard it is on the body to roll with somebody, but dude, it fucking wears you out. So this motherfucker had to run like 4 miles and then come back and then do a jiu-jitsu competition.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
I wrestled. I wrestled in high school, and to make weight, coach would make us jog around the parking lot at the high school in trash bags. I've done that shit many times.
Yeah, and still have a match that same day. At least, you know, it's different days for us. But I've had a same day weigh-in like MMA fight. Of course, I went up in weight. I didn't go all the way down to 185. But I want to say that fight was 195. I only had to not even cut 5 pounds. Just don't eat the beginning of the day and be on weight.
Yeah, man, I've been riding in the bus to the high school for the tournament or something and be spitting in a Coke bottle just to lose that water weight.
Yeah. I used to see that shit too. Like, God damn, that shit looks nasty.
Yeah.
A bottle of spit.
Yeah, just spit. Just getting rid of that water weight. Just every time your mouth fills up with saliva, you just spit it in a bottle.
Fuck, that's nasty. I used to hate seeing that shit.
Yeah, dude. I'm talking about a whole busload of dudes doing that shit, trying to make weight, a whole bottle, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's common. I mean, that's been a common practice.
That's very common.
Yeah.
I never would have thought about that. I mean, pissing and taking a shit, maybe you rub one out real quick. I get all that. All right. Well, since we're on this topic, nutrition. Nutrition has always been fascinated to me, and I've dabbled in both, trying to get bigger.
Hold on just a second. I have a question or something to interject here. Since we're talking about fight rituals and sex before fight and all that, do you have any specific rituals, Brinson, that you do before fight, like personal rituals, like things that you do?
Yeah, I do. Say the morning of the fight, we do it like a kind of like a shake off, just shake down, just to get our heart rate up in the morning. That's that way. So I'm not sitting around all day and then come to fight. I get like a huge spike in heart rate.
Right.
So I get, not too hard of a workout in the morning, but just to get my heart rate up.
Do you have like a favorite pair of socks or a favorite pair of boxers or a lucky pair of socks or something like that you wear in the ring whenever you fight?
In the ring? Nah, but I'm like a big, like, not a huge anime fan, but I used to watch a lot of Dragon Ball Z, and I do this kind of like, it's like an arm roll, and then I lift my hands up and kick the fence behind me. If you watch my fights, you'll see it all the time. It's like from my favorite character from Dragon Ball Z, Trunks. Right. He does like a burning attack. Brinson Burner, I kind of put that in.
Hell yeah.
I've seen that.
A little resemblance to it. I always do that. I don't know. That's where it came from, but it just always comes out when I do it.
Hell yeah.
So on fight day, okay, so you wake up. Do you eat?
Hell yeah. I eat like mainly pancakes, eggs, not like pizza, nothing like that. Nothing too heavy, but something with some carbs in it, some calories.
So okay, so you wake up, you have breakfast, so you hang out a little bit. Is this do you listen to music all day, or like I imagine it's a big mental game within yourself.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like you want to, of course you're thinking about it like, shit, I got to fight later on. But I just try to, like, my main thing is like my mind to get to me. It's broken me down before a fight. But I just try to stay as stressful and like nothing going on. So I sit around, play the game, look on Facebook, Instagram, just chill out as much as I can. Play RC cards with my son, anything, just to keep my mind off that. But it starts sinking in around 1 o'clock when I'm headed to the venue. It always does.
So
go ahead, Ray.
What's in the earbuds in the locker room before you come outside? What you listening to?
The past few fights, I just been enjoying the atmosphere, like just soaking in the atmosphere.
Right.
But on the way, it's probably my walkout song. Like it's a No Reason by Tech-9. I listen to that on the way to the venue, and then that'll probably be like the last music I listen to.
Man, I don't know a lot of people that listen to Tech-9, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, I like him, man. I like him. He got a song for about every situation.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
The reason you don't know a lot of people who listen to Tech-9 is because you live all the way up there in fucking West Virginia. We down here in the dirty Duval.
Dude, Tech-9's not a super popular guy. He's not like mainstream, so a lot of people don't know who Tech-9 is. They don't make a damn where you're from.
But like as an independent artist, Tech-9 probably has more money than like anybody you know on the mainstream.
Him or Hobson. You ever listen to Hobson?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
What part of West Virginia are you from, Red?
I am about 40 miles from Morgantown.
Okay.
Which is where WVU is. I'm probably 2 hours from Charleston, the capital. I'm in a little small town, right outside of Clarksburg, Morgantown.
Oh, you know where Chester, West Virginia is?
I do. Yep.
Oh man, I would never go back there ever again.
Yeah, that's a small town, man.
Woo,
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. That's scary.
Yeah. There's a lot of little towns like that up here, man. I'm not originally from West Virginia. I'm actually from South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area. So
okay.
I've only been up here for about 5 years, so I don't know everywhere, but you know.
What's your favorite fighting style? Now I know to me, you stand up like you're a striker, wouldn't you? Right?
Yes, I feel like I'm kind of a little bit of everything, like well-rounded. I feel like.
Well, here's
my go-to is probably striking. It always starts on the feet, but I like striking, and most of my wins are by submission. So it's crazy.
Yeah,
you gotta appreciate both.
Yeah. Well, one thing about Brinson, and you made a post on Facebook about anybody who has seen your fights or know you as a fighter or whatever. One thing that I noticed about you is that you're a real technical fighter, and maybe you being an instructor helps with that.
Yeah, it definitely does. Because you don't want to teach somebody some shit and then they do some bullshit and then they're like, damn, who taught them that? And then they point right at you. Fuck. Like, nah.
But are you a natural instructor, or was that something that you had to learn how to do?
Yeah, I definitely had to learn how to do it because, I started on just somebody coming to class. And then my first couple of classes, I feel like were like really rough. And I don't feel like anybody picked up anything off of it. But the head coach of the gym, he does like these, I want to say quarterly, like teaching seminars, so to say. And that kind of like helped, get my point across.
Yeah.
And then have like a structured class. So everybody's paying attention. They're getting a workout and then they picking up technique at the same time. I feel like that definitely helped. His classes he teaches, good.
I would imagine that being an instructor and then being a fighter, it translates into that because you have to set an example because the people that you're training are also watching you fight.
Yes, sir.
So you have to set you have to set an example. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But here's the thing. You wouldn't even know that Brinson was a fighter. Like he's a super humble dude. I had to once I started going there, I started looking into these people that I looked into Coach Smiley, the owner of the gym, Brinson, a couple of the other guys there. Like I didn't even know everything about Coach Smiley. I didn't know all his I don't even know what you call it, accomplishments, achievements. He's a black belt in Krav Maga.
Krav Maga. He has a couple black belts.
That's fucking crazy, yo. But see, here's the thing: is that
Coach Smiley's a wizard. You can ask him about anything. He knows something about everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit. I do capoeira, just like playing around in the gym, and like everything I do in the gym, he kind of taught me that. I was like, I'm looking for a capoeira gym. Coach Smiley don't want you to go nowhere. So he'd be like, hey, I could show you a little bit of something.
Yeah. But you wouldn't even know that Brinson was a fighter. I mean, he looks like a fighter, but like they don't go around with their chest bowed out. Look at me, I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? And all this shit. Coach Smiley doesn't either. That was one of the things that impressed me because I went and looked at a few gyms, and there was a few gyms that I went and visited before I chose Smiley's Academy, and some of them, as soon as I walked in, I could smell the fucking wolves. Like they was there to fucking hurt you. You know what I mean? Like you learn some shit there, and you could become a badass fighter, but you could tell that these motherfuckers were like fucking wolves. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get that vibe at Smiley's. I got the vibe like everybody's good people. They genuinely care about your health. You know what I mean? And nobody's out there to hurt you. I had a guy. I have this bad thing where I know I'm not a technical fighter. I'm not, but I like to think I'm tough. So if somebody slips something by, I want them to do it again. Give it to me again.
I was just about to tell Red that. Johnny, you were asking earlier how was Johnny in the gym, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. If you hear, oh, do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again. Oh, yeah. Do it again. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, everybody's like, oh man, I didn't mean to hurt him. I was like, yo, you have to hurt him because he'll tell you to keep on kicking him or hitting him. He wants to feel it. I was like, yo, he's in class today. Make him feel his workout, please.
Yeah. And dude, so and I'm still recovering. I haven't been able to train since, but when was that? Was it? It was last week. What was it, like Thursday or something like that? Let's see.
Want to say Wednesday. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah. So this new cat, I think he's new. I don't remember seeing him there before. Is he new?
He's new at the gym, but he has prior training.
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't got to tell me that. So listen. So this motherfucker. Okay. So I'm a people person. You know what I'm saying? I can read people. So when you see somebody come in with Muay Thai shorts, you know what I'm saying? You know that he's got some former training. So I knew what I was getting myself into, but I like that. You know what I mean? I'm a dirty, grimy motherfucker. I like to get fucking hit. I'm still waiting for a black eye. I want a black eye. So this dude, he kicks me one time, and I tell him it upsets me. It almost angers me when I feel somebody's holding back.
Yeah.
Like babying, you know what I'm saying? So I told him, I was like, yo, don't do me like that, man. Fucking kick me. So he kicks me, and the motherfucker's, he's got some powerful kicks. I mean, he's a bad motherfucker. Like you feel it. So I have 2 torn ACLs on both my knees are just fucking shot. So when I do spar, I have to work with that. You know what I mean? Knowing that I have bad knees. So I try not to stand flat-footed. I like at least my front foot I have to be on the ball of my foot a little bit, just so it's not planted, all the way down. So what happened is that he kicked me, and I kept making him kick me, and then I fucked up and I was flat-footed when he kicked me, and it jarred my whole fucking knee. That was the only time I've ever sat down, right, Coach?
Yeah. Johnny doesn't sit down much, but when he sat down, I was like, yeah, that shit hurt. I know it hurt. If he sat down, that shit hurt.
Yo, but my conditioning is a little better though, right?
Yes, definitely. It's compared to when you first came in, shit.
Yeah. All right. It was rough. This ain't Praise Johnny hour. All right. This ain't what this is.
Yeah, but it's helpful because when you go to a gym, even if it's weight training, you know what I'm saying, you like to see results. So when you go to an MMA gym, you like I go in there and I try to be the best I can be for coach. Does that make sense? I know it's a weird thing, but I take it back to like T-ball. You go to T-ball and you want to do good for the coach. You want to do good for your dad, you know what I mean, who's watching in the stands and shit. So it's the same thing when I go to the fucking gym. I don't want people going in there thinking I'm some kind of pussy. you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the guy to go with. If you like, man, I just want to open up today. You know what I mean? Let's let something go. All right, you go with him. Partner with him. Kick the shit out of him too.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm sore all the time.
Yeah, you feel it, man. It definitely adds up. Day in and day out. That shit adds up.
So the nutrition. This is a big one for me because I've done the weight training and I've ate 3,000 calories per day, bulked up, and then
I saw a pic you posted I think you say you was 215, 210, 215.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
But see, but it was. I'm learning that you have to know your body type. I forget. There's 3 different body types. I can't think of what they are right now, but you have to know what body. And so my frame is not set up to be that big. I'm not a big guy naturally. So I had to literally eat 3,000 calories per day, lift everything heavy. Everything was maxed out every time I went to the fucking gym. But eating 3,000 calories may not seem hard, but eating 3,000 calories of good, healthy shit, that's the hard.
It sounds easy.
Right. But I can go to Burger King 3 times a day and get 3,000 calories in me, no problem. But chicken breast after fucking chicken breast after chicken breast after chicken breast, you know, I'm running out of weight.
At the most, it's probably what, 300 calories in that chicken breast.
Yeah, you know,
like fuck.
Yeah,
and I'm full, can't eat no more.
But not only that, I have to eat a lot of this shit that I don't like. I don't like fucking shit. What is it? It's green avocado. I don't like fucking avocado, but it's good for you. I don't like sweet potato. I like a fucking baked potato. I like home fries. I mean, so I'm literally stuffing my face, and because of the whole metabolism thing, I had to eat every 2 hours. So every 2 hours I'm eating, and I have to accumulate 3,000 calories. But here's the difference between fighting, and this is why I'm trying to slim down, is because when you're trying to fight in the gym, for me, being big or having a dad bod or having a gut, your body isn't going to do what your brain wants it to do. Like I was real sluggish. I was real slow. So as I've been conditioning my body and doing more cardio, and that was another hard thing for me. When I was weight training and gaining weight, I did zero cardio. I didn't want to waste my calories on cardio. So now I'm having to do cardio and eat. It's more about portion control. So I still eat all day, but I only eat like I do right now. I'm on a pretty much all protein, zero carb. I will have a carb accidentally. You'd be surprised how much shit is considered a carb.
Yeah. Damn.
So yo, there's. Most of the time, right now, my diet consists of chicken breast and a vegetable, and almonds, and fruit occasionally.
Yeah.
So
man, I bet you have cravings from hell, like no carbs.
Yeah. So funny thing is my family is still eating fucking carbs. So we made chicken breast and mashed potatoes for the kids and the wife and vegetable and all that shit, and the potatoes were being passed, and given to me, and I have to pass it over.
Oh man!
So my daughter's sitting beside me, and they know I'm training, so they try to work with me and help me a little bit. But she fucked up and put the mashed potatoes right in between us. So I had my fork right, and I'm eating vegetables, and nobody's looking. So I take my fork and I just give me a bite, of the potato. So look, I got 2 bites, and then on my 3rd bite, my daughter looked over and saw me. She was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it gets to that point, man. When you cutting out carbs and like sugar and stuff, you start looking at everything. Like, damn, I usually wouldn't eat this shit, but looking real tasty right now. I be picking off my son's shit. Hey man, let me make sure that shit's good. Let me make sure it's good.
Yeah. I'm on 0 sugar right now. I have a mint in my mouth. That's about the only sugar. I drink water all day. I don't put sugar in my coffee anymore. I'm literally this peppermint is the only sugar that I have on a daily basis.
Shit, that's
for
good.
now. I'm still trying to. I want to get down to 170. Once I get down to 170, I want to check my performance in the gym, and then if I have to make some adjustments, then I'm going to make some adjustments then. But since we're talking about nutrition, my man is jacked. So what is your, because you are in the gym today as an instructor and you train for and you have a fight coming up, not in a fight camp, not you preparing for a fight. Are you a conscientious? Are you are you that type of person to where you eat healthy on a regular basis? Is that just who you are as a person?
Yeah, it kind of transferred from my mother. My mother used to always go to the gym, but yeah, like if I don't have a fight coming up, I have my more splurge days, so to say, but I still try to keep it clean because when it's time to get back in shape and get ready for a fight, that shit sucks.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I'm way out of shape. I've been eating all this pizza and this cheese, feel like it's backed up in me.
Yeah. This is any dairy. I'm not on any dairy either. So what is a what? Give us a an idea on what y'all have for dinner.
The typical meal, we'll have quinoa or every now and then white rice, but it's mostly quinoa, spinach, chicken breasts. We big on ground turkey, a lot of ground turkey, but it's just good. Like the way we season it, I eat that shit every day, honestly.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You just gotta make it to where it's not such a task. Like, damn, this shit is so plain, it's fucking disgusting. But they have and we cut out a lot of salt. We don't use a lot of salt in our food.
Yeah, I don't put any salt. Some of the seasoning might have a little bit of salt in it, but I'll pepper the fuck out of all my shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then we use this brand called Miss Dash. It's like salt free. You know, they have lemon pepper, Southwest style, this and that. That shit's pretty good.
Yeah. So does your family jump on the bandwagon with you, or are y'all having to eat two separate meals? Do you have to
everybody's on it. My household.
Yeah. Against their will, or or what?
No. My son, you know, he's still young, so he can slip up with the macaroni and cheese and chicken tenders and all that. But every now and then we'll go splurge, like just get like a super craving, like fuck it, we're going to get some Publix chicken. We'll be back.
So notice how this motherfucker says Publix chicken as his splurge. Do y'all motherfuckers not go to Burger King, McDonald's, none of that?
Oh man, nah, hell no. Shit.
What?
Hell
so
no.
Your son don't. What, has your son ever had fucking McDonald's chicken nuggets?
He used to eat McDonald's a lot, but we kind of cut back on that because it was making him feel like, you know, stomach aches and stuff like that. And then it came down to that. Yeah.
I guess that answers my next. I guess that answers my next question. When you do splurge, what do you go for?
I go. We big on sushi too. Like we'll go sushi spot.
Hell yeah.
And then they have like all you can eat. Like pay one price all you can eat. Shit, I'm putting away some sushi big time.
Yeah. I love fucking sushi, boy. Woo-wee.
That shit is good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, help us understand fight camp. So I'm assuming that you have a gym that you go to, and then you have fight camp. So when is camp the word fight camp or camp? Is that something different than your daily gym exercises?
Yeah, because fight camp is kind of, you know, you want to keep to your basics and go to classes, but fight camp you gotta do more. You know what I mean? Push a little bit harder because you have a fight coming up, and then you have to go to the gym. Excuse me. You have to go to the gym, do the classes and extra work on the bag, mitt work, stuff like that. And then outside of the gym, you got to keep eating clean, run more. Like in the mornings, run before you go to work. After work, some days, you know, you may come to the gym late. After everything's over with, you just got to put in extra work. Then you have to work out with direction, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a purpose. Like, all right, I need to pump my jab for this fight coming up, so I'll be focusing on this jab the whole fight. My last fight, I felt like I gassed a little bit. I got to focus more on cardio. Just little shit like that. Little tweaks here and there, but mostly it's the same routine, but it's also different routine. And then it's more work too.
How far out before a fight does fight camp start?
Not too far because you don't want to burn yourself out. Like, damn, I've been training for this fight for fucking 3 months. But I'd say probably month and a half, 2 months. It all depends because if you fall all the way off and then try to get back in the gym when you have a fight coming up, first you have to get back in shape. Then you have to start dropping weight. Then you have to cut. But if you're already in somewhat shape, you don't have to start camp as far out.
A month and a half? I remember watching boxing when I was young, and them fighters would be training for like 6 months getting ready for a fight.
Yeah. Some people do. But it's more on the higher level.
Right. Damn.
But I've seen people. It takes 6 months for them to get back in on track,
right?
Because they fall off so hard. Like, damn,
yeah,
two different people.
Well, for all those that are listening to us, this motherfucker has abs. So give it. What's the secret? Listen, abs are hard to get. What's the secret to getting abs?
Man, it's honestly, you can do 1,000,000 push-ups. I mean, 1,000,000 sit-ups. You're not gonna get abs if you're still eating Whoppers and Big Macs and whatever, fucking extra butter on everything. You're not gonna get abs. You can do as many sit-ups as you want, but if you eat clean, you could just do your training and everything, and the abs are gonna come. It's the sit-ups that make them, I guess, more conditioned and more defined. But
they tone them
if
up.
You eat clean, if you eat clean and work out, do whatever you do, you're gonna have abs. But just like you said, some people don't, and they're not as pronounced. But that's when the sit-ups come into play. But just flat out sit-ups, people saying I'm gonna do 1,000,000 sit-ups just to tone up my waist, it's not gonna happen.
Johnny, you ain't never gonna see abs in that barrel ass waist you got, bro.
That's what I'm saying. There's different body types too.
Wait, I'm not gonna see abs.
No, that barrel ass waist you got. You ain't never gonna see abs, man.
I don't know. He could get the Chuck Liddell keg going.
Yeah,
Chuck Liddell had a gut, but he had the abs in the gut.
Yeah.
Well, see, I've noticed that I'm starting, and Brinson's right. Here's what I've noticed about abs is that everybody has abs. There's just fat covering them up.
Yeah.
So as I'm slimming down, I'm starting to see abs, but I only have 4 big abs. I don't have the little hot dog looking, 8 of them. I have.
Oh, you don't have the riblets on the side.
Yeah,
under the armpit.
I do.
The riblets.
I do. But my thing is that okay, I'm dropping weight. I went from 215. Well, no, I was about 2 even when I first started training, and then I'm at 181 now. So I can see my body changing. I can see the muscle definition coming in. I can see the fat going away. But I worry how much weight, how little do I have to get, or how much fat do I have to shed before I start seeing the abs? You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be. I was talking to Coach Smiley about it and asking if I should bulk up or if I should slim down, and he suggested to slim down. But I worry about where is that line to where. Because I would think that if you're a little guy, your punch power becomes less. Does it not?
I'm saying when you lose weight, you lose some of your power, depending on how you train. You know what I mean? But you lose some power, I would think, especially if you're cutting. But if you lose, it all depends if you're losing fat or muscle. I'm not super nutritionist, but that's how I look at it. That's what I've heard and read up on. If you're shedding muscle, you're not going to be as strong. Losing weight. Say you were 215, you was lifting heavy from what it looked like.
Yeah.
If you're just doing all cardio, no calisthenics or nothing, say you're just running 4 miles every day, you're going to lose some muscle. You're not going to be as strong. You're not going to be as powerful.
Right.
Well, it's got a lot to do with momentum and all that kind of shit, too. I mean, a heavier arm is going to have more power behind it than a lighter arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see that's the difference in fight training and wrestling in your little singlet. You know what I mean?
Dude, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Okay.
Yeah, but power, and I look. I didn't know this. You know what I'm saying? Until I started training with Brinson, is that the way you move your body. The way you torque your hip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There are little things that the technical aspect of fighting and throwing a punch. And I just hung a heavy bag in my garage and had my daughters out there and was explaining to them, okay, if you just stand there and you just throw a punch, it's nothing. But if you turn the hip, you know what I'm saying, and you do you find the technique of throwing a punch, you can find power
into it.
From
your foot to your hand, you're throwing everything into it. It's gonna be a lot more powerful.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I want to talk about next is the technique. So where do you learn? Do you think that a fighter is born with the natural ability to fight? Do you think you can train somebody who is not an athlete to become a good fighter?
Yeah, I believe so. Because I've seen like some people that are not athletes fighting, and they have the heart, and it takes more work. It's not going to be a full on athlete, but that's a part of being a coach. You gotta use benefits of one person to kind of achieve their goal. Like, all right, you can do this, right? You're pretty fast, but you can't jump that high. You know what I'm saying? So you got somewhat of a explosiveness. So you got to kind of use that to them. Use what they have.
Well, you think about fighters like what's his name, Forrest Griffin. He wasn't a good fighter whenever he came out, but the longer he was in it, and the more he trained and the more he fought, he became really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get better at it.
Yeah.
I think he was the police officer when when he started.
Yeah.
Or either he started as a police officer or he went into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems like he went into a police academy or something while he was fighting, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
As an instructor, now I know this answer for me because I've coached t-ball, I've coached soccer. For you in the fighting, when you see new people come in, can you tell if they have it or not?
Yeah, but it can change, like not overnight, but somebody you can say, you can look at them like just tell how people move, how they move. If they like super flat-footed, I'd be like, all right, he probably never played basketball or anything else. It's probably like the first activity he's done. But if you get somebody to come in, you tell them, light on the feet, and they bend your knees and get on the, like, not tippy toes, but like balls of your feet, you'd be like, all right, he probably did something, so I could work with that. It's just, honestly, I feel like you can make anybody, not a fighter, but give them better technique with more work. Some people take more work than others.
So, technique, is that something that you had to learn?
Yeah,
I mean, everybody.
I learned from, my first couple coaches, and then just YouTube videos, try to pick up something from everybody, even if it's what not to do. Yeah. Like, this guy's like, turning his arm over more, and just honestly, and there's unlimited resources to get better at what you do, especially like YouTube and just seeing shit on Instagram and whatever, instructional videos, man.
All right. So, at what point do you consider yourself an amateur fighter? Is it when you have your first fight?
Yeah, I would say so, because you're not a fighter without a fight.
Yeah, I know, but so there's a difference between. How many amateur fights have you had?
13, like sanctioned.
Sanctioned. Red and I were talking about that. So I'm going to get off topic here for just a second, but Red and I were okay. So you have the UFC, which would be like the major leagues, right?
Yeah. But
then you have like Pride and what is it? Show Dog.
Bellator.
And so that's
Bellator.
Bellator. So that's kind of like the minor leagues, right? I mean, it's still pro and all that stuff. You still get paid and everything, but it's kind of a step down, right?
As far as Bellator?
Well, we're trying to figure out the process. So Combat Night, for example, that's a sanctioned event, correct?
Yes. It's just a promotion name, you know what I mean?
Okay, so are you regulated, or who is that fight regulated by?
It's like the Florida Commission of Boxing.
That's what I told you.
Boxing? Yeah, Florida Commission of Boxing. It's like a lot of ins and outs with it, but that's what everything reads on like licenses, and that's what they say the Florida commissioners here of boxing. So it kind of goes off that.
I'm sure that Florida Boxing Commission or whatever it's called, you said, I'm sure there's a few clauses in that covers combat athletics. You know what I mean? It's not just. I mean, that's the name of the sanction, but it's just boxing itself. But I'm sure there's a umbrella clause in there that covers MMA and combat athletics of all types. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all the the ins and outs of it,
right.
But yeah, that's what is, I guess, considered sanctioned because it goes on record and insurances and stuff like that. But unsanctioned, like I have a boxing match unsanctioned, and a kickboxing match unsanctioned. Well, 2 kickboxing matches unsanctioned. That's basically, people from our gym are going to this other gym, and we're going to fight some people over there. And then you got somebody that goes to like one of the gyms being a referee, not an official referee, but just somebody to kind of keep things in order.
Kind of like a ball game, kind of like a ball game scrimmage.
Yeah, like a scrimmage.
Yeah,
say it like that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant by at what point would you consider yourself an amateur fighter? So it would have to be a sanctioned event in order for you to be considered an amateur fighter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your amateur record right now?
I'm 6-5-2. I have 2 draws in title fights. That's crazy.
Damn. That sucks.
I bet that sucks. You train and you train and you train. You go in there, you put in the work, and it's a fucking draw.
Yep. I've only seen 1 draw in the UFC in a title fight. That was Woodley and Thompson, I believe. And then I have 2 draws in title fights. That's fucking crazy.
So have you
pissed off?
in your amateur career, have you ever fought anybody famous or potentially famous that made it, or you seen later on, you seen them fight somewhere else and they made it into the next step?
No, not yet.
Who is your favorite fighter to watch?
As an amateur or UFC, like big time?
Well, let's do both. Let's do amateur now.
Like lower level, like a couple fights as a pro and amateurs. Probably like anybody from my gym. Anybody from my gym, I like seeing fight because we bring it when we come to fight.
Yeah, Reggie's fun to watch.
Yeah, Reggie, that's a hell of a training partner. Him, Reggie, Devin, Ricky Chiappa, the Chihuahua. I can go down the list. You can get work with everybody at our gym.
Yeah. Matt, ain't that his name? Redheaded dude?
Yeah, Carnage. Cletus Cassidy, a redhead guy.
See,
Matt
you're not the only.
That's my guy too.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah, that's my guy.
So sponsors, who do you have? The same sponsors that have kind of been with you throughout this whole journey?
Yeah, I keep supporting them because like a lot of the people that sponsor me, like we see them every day or we actually use their products.
Yeah.
Like
who's the dude with the girls?
Oh, that's my guy, Devin Albritton. He's like a jeweler.
So are those prices that you put on social media, that's real?
Yeah.
So
he does high quality work.
So
very high quality.
So for fronts, like the first 4.
Why you look like that, Red? This man's gonna go get him some fronts now, just because.
Yeah.
I've always wanted fronts, but on the bottom, I just want the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay.
Budget for the damn gold tee. Damn.
Does he have like a layaway, or can I finance them joints?
I don't know.
Can you give us a list of a few of your sponsors?
Yeah, we got just thinking off top. We got Gone Broke Gaming. It's like a vintage video game store. You can get all the old video games. You think like jewelry gets expensive, but some of those old video games get fucking pricey.
Yep.
Like never open and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then Past Tense Books and Coffee. It's another couple that goes to our gym. It's like a little coffee shop. They have some good stuff. It's like they have like seasonal coffees and teas. It's pretty good too. Man, I'm trying to think. Solano Realty, CBD of Jax, like American Shaman. That's like my CBD guy. That's where I go to. He's a pretty good guy. Abe Sharkawi, Devin Albritton, the jeweler. Who else? Man, I could trying to think. I just don't want to leave nobody out. What the
fuck? So how does the sponsorship work? So what do they get in return?
I'm just kind of like a billboard. I mean, I promote as much as I can on social media, put their logo on my shorts or whatever. Just then, just talk good about them, use their product.
Yeah. So
just support on both ends.
Right. So the banners, the shorts. So it's like product placement.
Yep.
Hell yeah. All right. So here we are. We are in 2020. You've been in this game for a hot minute now. What's the goal here? What's the end game here?
Yeah, I'm trying to go pro this year. If this fight my last fight wouldn't have been a rematch, I probably would have went pro this fight, but there's another guy. And then I'm trying to get this custom belt. They say after you have like 3 defenses, you get your name on like a belt. I want that too. So I'm going to take one more fight like amateur, and then my next step will be pro.
Now, is there a process to go pro? Is it a certain amount of amateur fights to be considered pro? Or is there something you have to graduate to? Or how does that work?
For Florida, I know different states have different rules because I started in Texas and I knew a guy, he only had one fight, and that was an MMA fight. And then his next fight, he was pro. But in Florida, I'm not sure of all the rules, but shit, I have 13 fights. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they go off ratings. I mean, like win percentages or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
So your record follows you from Texas and Virginia and all that. You fought amateur. That record follows you from those states too?
No, those weren't sanctioned.
Oh, right.
So those are just like little like gym wars.
Yeah.
But all my fights have been in. I had one fight in Georgia, like amateur fight, but it's all together. It's all together.
Yeah. What kind of money are we talking about here as a pro fighter? Just starting out. I mean, you don't. I ain't trying to get personal.
Saying as different promotions have different scales of pay, and then also how you did. I want to say amateur. I don't know. I know it's different. Promotions pay different rates. Yeah, I'll say that. I'm not sure what the rate is. I know you get half of it. It might say $1,000, but half of that is if you win, and the other half is to make weight. So if you make weight, you get some money, and then if you win, it's like an incentive. You get the other half.
So do you have to pay your gym? Do you have to have a manager? Do you have to have a publicist? As you progress. You get bigger, you got to pay all these people that like your training camp. You got to pay them cats. You got to pay out.
As you get bigger, you're gonna have to pay because it'll be more focused training on you as you get bigger.
Yeah,
and then you'll probably like move on to like bigger gyms that have more like higher scale fighters.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna have to pay up because you're gonna say I'll take my first pro fight. It's unlikely to happen, but I make $100,000 off the fight. Like I get half of it for showing up and the other half when I win. So I just won $100,000 off this fight, and I go back to my gym and don't say pay my coach. Yeah. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And then you didn't put all this work into me. You had to come to the fight, put all that work in, and then you don't get paid. So that'll come down like when it comes down. I mean? You don't have to have a manager and all that publicist stuff, but if you're like big time, say Conor McGregor, John Jones, I would think you would want a publicist just so you looked at a certain way.
Yeah. So what's the next move as far as going pro for you though? I mean, you said one more fight or one more sanctioned fight and you're going to go pro. Like what's the next move for Brinson Burner as far as going pro right now?
Yeah, I'm just, after this fight, I'll probably take a little bit of time to, get everything in order to how I'm going to do it. Talk to my coaches, just see how I want to do it. Talk to which promotion I'm trying to go pro with.
Right.
then just go about doing it like that.
Oh yeah. Well, we won't keep you any longer, man. We appreciate you coming on. This is Brinson, the middleweight champ, my guy.
Wait a minute though. When's Brinson's next fight? When's the next fight for you, Brinson?
Yeah. It's supposed to be March 21st. I don't have anything confirmed or even an opponent's name, but yeah, it's supposed to be March 21st here in Jacksonville at the Morocco Shrine Center.
Yeah. So if you're local, if you got some people down here in the Dirty Duval, come check him out. It was the March 21st.
Yeah, March 21st. And then, I post updates on my Instagram and Facebook and shit like that.
Give everybody your social medias, man. Let everybody know where you at and how they can get a hold of you on social media.
It's easy. Brinson Burner. Type it in. It'll pop up.
Just Google me, bitches.
Facebook and Instagram. You type in Brinson Burner, it's going to pop up.
Are you're not on Twitter?
Oh, yeah. He's on Twitter. I found he's on Twitter. I found it.
Like, I have it, but, man, I got to look at it and get all the information of it. I haven't looked at it for too long. It's confusing.
Yeah, it ain't that hard, man. I found you on Twitter. I actually tagged you in a post a couple of days ago that we were going to be interviewing you. So if you get on there, you got a tag from Paycheck and Red on there.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't do the social media. I do Facebook a little bit, Instagram a little bit. Red is the social media guru. He's the Twitter guru. I'm with you. I try to get on Twitter, but I don't know what's what. I don't know what's a comment, what's a reply.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I guess like Red said, you had to get used to it. But yeah. I'd be looking at it like, fuck, man. I just like they click people If I never heard of you, I don't know how to look anybody up.
Yeah, but think about this for a second, though, fellas.
Follow.
Yeah, think about this for a second, though, real quick. Everybody sitting right here has had a MySpace page, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then when MySpace fell off and Facebook picked up, everybody went over to that. And now everybody knows what Facebook's about. Twitter's been there the whole time. People just stayed on Twitter. Some people transferred over to Twitter, to Facebook and Twitter and all that. So it's just another social media platform. It's just a little different than Facebook. It's not that hard to use, though.
Yeah,
it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing for getting people to know who you are, Brinson. Twitter's huge, man. If you can get a Twitter following and people to follow you on Twitter, it's huge, man.
All right. I'm gonna work on that. I've been trying to get more followers on Instagram, so I guess got to work on my Twitter now too.
Right. Hell yeah.
So if you're listening, go find my man Brinson Burner, the middleweight champ. Go find him on Facebook, Instagram, and
Twitter too.
You can hit him on
Twitter. He might not. It just don't get no responses.
Yeah, he might not know how to respond or reply to your shit. You know what I'm saying? but go check him out. And if you're in the area, March 21st is going down at the Morocco Shrine?
Yeah, Morocco Shrine Center.
Yeah. Here in Jacksonville. Appreciate you coming on, homie.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Brinson Burner, baby.
That's all the time we got for this episode. So until next time, see ya.
Later.
Yeah.
Make sure to check out Paycheck and Red wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us 5 stars and a review. Follow Paycheck and Red on Facebook and Twitter at Paycheck and Red. And if you're watching the show on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon to stay up to date on new videos weekly.